Okay, Wayne Hilton, welcome to Tokyo Record Style, dude. It's been a while. How you been?
I'm doing great. How are you? First of
I
all,
am.
I'm going to jump in right off the bat. You were so kind to let me pick the time. So here we are at a lovely 10:30 a.m. Sunday morning in El Paso, and I just asked Google what time it is in Tokyo, and I didn't know it's 1:30 a.m. Monday morning your time.
I
So
didn't know if I should cheers you with a glass of wine or with a cup of coffee. I'm just drinking water, but I will. I will. I don't know if you're allowed to cheers water, but I didn't know what drink we should have pulled up for today. But I'm
right.
so happy to have the consummate host with me here on Tokyo Record Style. The consummate host is my old buddy Wayne Hilton's new YouTube identity, and actually, I'd say you've been a consummate host maybe your whole life. You've shared a lot about your story on your YouTube channel, and I've just been catching glimpses of you on stories and on you're just in my various social feeds, and I'm like, man, this guy is good. He's going places. He's got this down better than I do. And I've been at this for a couple of years. Not
Right.
long, but a couple of years. And so I very much thought it would be fun to get together as like, it's just an excuse for us to sort of trade some trade secrets. And also I kind of conceived this idea that maybe we can take some of what you're doing on the Consummate Host channel and maybe bring it into this world that I'm going to tell you about that you haven't quite learned about yet. But
Yeah, no, I love that idea. Yeah.
And when I say this world, I mean this record world where I'm sort of broadcasting about and from. So
Well,
anyway,
to kind of jump in on the chat that kind of led to us doing this, which is what I've been thinking about before we got together today, in this moment. But the idea of hosting in the virtual world, the online world, all of that. And obviously, so many of the tools that I use in the nature of my hosting are physical and present and in real life, all of that. But there's also like psychology to hosting that I think could absolutely transfer to the virtual world, protocols and I don't know, just little habits that you could incorporate that kind of make your experiences special.
We're kind of like, you and we're connected through Tokyo. We've met in Tokyo maybe 5, 6, 7 years ago.
Right.
And we're both sort of tangentially connected to design, architecture, creative world, right?
Yeah.
And there's a word that circles around my office, TPO. TPO is time, place, occasion. And we're constantly getting bombarded with reminders that we need to constantly be thinking about time, place, and occasion, which is to say, sneakers, Brian, you're going to wear sneakers to this event today?
Well, can I just say you're going to be hearing TPO in future Consummate Host episodes for sure.
Okay.
I love it.
Okay. Well, so there's no real agenda here. We've got a few cheat sheets, we've got a few notes, but this is kind of an open conversation. And we're just gonna I want to introduce you to the Tokyo Record Style friends and to the vinyl community world and to Japan people. And I want to see if we can get some new followers for you and maybe some of your followers for me. And like, I don't know, just cross-pollinate a little bit. And like, let's see if we can go for, let's learn a little bit about you. Let's hear how you got started, where you're from, and let's hear your backstory a little bit. And then let's jump into like how we can imagine the kind of like what you just described, the sort of in real life worlds that you're kind of creating, how we might be able to apply some of those techniques to the digital space where I was online already like twice today. Maybe I'm kind of like this live stream thing is like a new.
I told you earlier, I've been up since 4 a.m. my time.
Right.
If you look behind me, you see all these photos on the wall behind me.
Yeah.
That all just happened at 4 a.m. this morning.
Oh, good for you. Okay.
Sometimes you need something to motivate you. And I was like, well, if I'm going to be doing this live stream with Brian, I need to get my background done. I used to have
done. I'm flattered.
Yeah, awesome. So this is all, it's mostly India and Nepal, my trip from earlier, December, January. So
let's see. We'll make you big. This is called making you big. And then
I'll do a little, you can see.
Okay. Wow, look at that, dude. This is so cool. You guys,
I actually had I was invited to do an exhibit here in El Paso of these photos. earlier in the summer. And so when I took him down from the exhibit, I brought him home. So this got my butt in gear to get him on the wall. So.
Well, I'm touched by that, and I'm so impressed. And anybody who's tuning in who doesn't have any idea who the Consummate Host is here, Wayne, you are in store for a treat. Wayne is not only going to talk about hosting, but he's got a crazy, super multifaceted personality and interests across the gamut. He's a traveler, and I won't steal your own thunder, but consider yourself lucky. This is a really chance for us to get together. I'm thrilled. I'm thrilled to be hanging out. So yeah, welcome.
Thank you so much. No, I'm the one that's so humbled. This is my very first live stream, so I'm honored that
it's his first live stream, guys. It's Wayne's first live stream. He's a live stream version. Did you ever go to Rocky Horror Picture Show? And did you ever have one of those? You have a little bit of a theater background, I learned.
Oh, well, my degree is in costume design, but I have a theater degree. In fact, I love that you just mentioned that, because the Plaza Classic Film Festival, the largest classic film festival in the world, is going on right now in El Paso, and they always show the Rocky Horror Picture Show.
Okay.
It's like a
well, my parents, when I was about 14 years old, convinced me and a couple of my boyfriends and girlfriends to all go to the movie theater together and go see the Rocky Horror Picture Show. And I thought I had seen it before. I thought I was playing Mr. Cool, like I knew what it was all about. And as soon as we walked into the place, it was like, what have we stepped into? And it was virgin. And we were like, oh my God, what's happening? We got soaked with water guns, wrapped in toilet paper. It was a riot.
Well, I mean, on the film note, so opening night was last Thursday, and the opening night film was Cabaret. And, I realized as I was sitting there watching it, I realized I had never seen Cabaret start to finish. And it completely elevated my kind of opinion of Liza Minnelli. I didn't have a bad opinion, but wow, that performance was incredible.
I haven't seen it. I got to go see it.
Oh, it's so good.
There's another one I gotta see that Tom Waits and Crystal Gale do, and Scorsese, I think, it made it, and it's Cabaret-esque, but I'm not sure what it is. But I don't know those movies, but I want to go see them.
Yeah.
Well, I'm very happy to have you here, and I'm happy to have the gallery here, the Peanut Gallery here, who's chatting with us. I got Rob in the house. What's up, dude? Rob from Northern Revolutions. Nice to have you here. Rob's up in Toronto. I think there's going to be some people from probably your channel and maybe from my channel. And yeah, everybody leave a comment. Where are you tuning in from in the world? We want to know where you're tuning in from. I'm in Tokyo. Yeah. Wayne's in El Paso, Texas, West Texas, right? And he's got a very southwestern thing that I want to explore. A very, like, you imagine those like cowboys, like this dusty, Ansel Adams landscapes, those New Mexican landscapes with the big bluffs and vistas and trading with, turquoise with the natives and these beautiful artist homes with, the Georgia O'Keeffes on all the walls. And this Wayne embodies this Southwest thing, and I'm really excited about El Paso. Yes. But so we got Rob from Northern Revolutions, Barry Brennan, nice to see you. Liberty Champ, 40, my friend 4D Man's in the house. I don't know how well we're going to be doing with comments from the Peanut Gallery, but we're going to do our best. First live stream. He's doing better than my first. I came up with no video for 5 minutes. Okay. Rachel was in the flight control tower saying, don't panic over the mic. Yeah, it happens. There's going to be some hiccups along the way. So what can you do? And I'm going to get behind on the comments, and I may jump forward, and I may skip your comment, and forgive me if I do, and we'll do our best. But we got Grasshopper TV from Toronto also in the house. Liberty Champs.
Yeah, that's Maya. Maya's joining us from
Maya. Nice to have you here. Thanks for tuning in.
Big part of the Paso Community Foundation community.
Okay, and Yornimer's in LA, so we're all over the place.
I love it.
Okay, so well, you saw the title of the thumbnail of this video, and I'm going to introduce myself. I'm going to set the stage here a little bit, and then I'm going to hand it over to you. But It's called host versus host, okay? But let's be very clear. Wayne is the host. I am just the I'm just the dude who's hanging out. I put on my apron because in honor of Wayne, he's a master of ceremonies, whether it be like at the bar, in the kitchen, hosting the event. And a lot of his videos, you got to go watch them. I'm going to drop the link into the chat here, but he's a consummate host. He's the consummate host. He is the internet's premier new consummate host. At theconsummatehost.com, you can go find out and learn from Wayne about how to become the consummate host. And that kind of piqued some interest with me because I also have some hosting credentials. I worked at this little Dots Diner in Boulder, Colorado for years while I went through college. And it was just this really funky, cool vortex of a place. And, where all the freaky people came after seeing shows from the night before. It was a place to kind of like not only get some good grub, but like to be seen. It was kind of sceney. And people would line up and they'd wait for an hour to get in to get some biscuits and gravy and get some, breakfast burritos. And I just wanted to work there real bad. As soon as I discovered the place, I was like, this is my world. This is my people. And I was like, give me a job. I'll wash dishes, whatever you want me to do. And I did the dishwasher, and then I did the busboy, and then I did the cook, and then I did the, whatever it was that I did. And then finally I made my way to the sort of least glamorous position of the lot, which was the host. Okay. And the host's job was like to basically keep the dogs at bay, these very hungry, hungover, needing coffee, very, foaming at the mouth, patrons who were ready to get some breakfast in them. I was keeping them at bay outside by kind of entertaining them and like bringing out some coffee for them while they're waiting and showing them the menu and have my little shtick. And it became like a role that really suited me really well. And it's probably some of the like skills, I don't know if I call them skills, but they've probably spilled over into giving me the confidence maybe to like come on here and host complete strangers. And so anyway, that's my hosting credentials. I have one funny anecdote. Wayne, have you ever worked in a restaurant before? I would have thought.
Oh no, totally. In fact, I always laugh when I was doing my undergrad in Las Cruces. There was a Japanese restaurant there called Tatsu, and I mean there at that time. So this would have been probably like dating myself, late 80s, early 90s. It was like one of the best restaurants in Las Cruces. Some people would have called it the best restaurant. And I always joke throughout my entire career, probably the most lucrative, well-paying job I ever had was the restaurant I worked in when I was doing my degree, right?
Right.
No, but right. I loved it. And and it was part of just kind of, it was very natural to me. And I think that was part of my realization of how much I do enjoy this role and the nature of what I do. And hosting it really encompasses a lot of things. People naturally gravitate towards food and beverage and dining and parties. And of course, that is a huge part of hosting. But I'm really trying to give people a well-rounded perspective that hosting is anything. Really, this is what I tell people. Hosting it's creating an experience. That's what it is. Hosting is guiding people through an experience. And that can take on many forms. It doesn't have to be a party. It can be.
I love that.
There's hosting in business. There's hosting online, as we're about to discuss at some point.
There's hosting at the 5 minutes at the bus stop. There's hosting, like every little moment is an opportunity to host, right? So I love that notion.
Absolutely. So that's, I'm really trying to get people to open their minds. And something that I'm really, I try to be very upfront when I'm doing my videos and talking about things and teaching things. There's no set answer. I've done a lot. I consider myself an expert in a lot of the things I'm talking about, but I never go in and say, this is how you do it. What I do is I say, this is how I've done it. So then you can figure out what works for you, and it's about empowering people. And I love that. I love that.
Yeah. We'll have to see if we can unravel the mystery on how we both maybe became these kinds of people. But let's hold off for a second. I have one little. I'm glad that you have some cafe restaurant credentials, because I have a crazy idea, and I think it should. The world should take it on. I think that if you if you want to eat at any restaurant in any corner of the globe, you should have to have a license to eat at that restaurant. And the only way to acquire said license is to have worked in a restaurant for one day. You should have to get there, get that restaurant oven grease smell in your head, and just like fry your head a little bit. Then you need to like get the cleanup from whatever's been left over from the night before. You need to go through the entire day of dealing with, you know, cantankerous customers. You need to mop the floor and deal with the broken fridge and the dishwasher that didn't show up. And you need to like close up and lock the door and turn the lights on and leave. And then you can be a card carrying restaurateur, goer. And I'm glad that you have that credential, because now, you know, we are definitely cut from the same cloth in that way.
Oh, for sure. I definitely mopped some floors. So I feel like I've done it all, you know.
Well, here's what I want to do. I want to do a couple of things. I've got a list of questions that I want to ask you. Let me do a little rapid fire. But then I want to show everybody your channel, and I want to play a video. I want to play one of your videos. They're not long. They're 7 to 10 minutes. Some are a little bit longer. I want to play one, but we both established that we've worked in some restaurants. I'm originally from Oklahoma. You're from New Mexico, not that far from each other. And people don't know whether to put Oklahoma in the South, in the Southwest, in the Midwest. And so anyway, I do have a little affinity for my Southwestern friends.
Absolutely.
Let's see. You said you're originally from Las Cruces, but you're in El Paso. God, I want to get into each of these a little bit deeper. What should we do first? Elevating gatherings. You want to give us just I should have. Well, let's play a video. That's what we'll do. We'll lean on the video. I'm going to pull up Wayne's channel here, and let's see here.
What I would say, I mean, maybe don't play an entire video. I don't want to get any. Just maybe a taste, right?
Okay. But I think everybody should actually see the videos. They're really, really good. But we can play a little bit of one. We'll play your. Where did my button go?
The coffee bar is a good one. That's a good one for like an intro.
Okay. Where are my? Oh goodness. Hold on. We've got a little. Let me move you here real quick. I think we have maybe a slightly new layout. They change this from time to time, and where is the button? There it is. Okay. Share screen. Okay, everybody. I want you guys to go follow the Consummate Host. And I'm going to drop the link here. And Wayne is at 458 subs. Nice, dude. When did you start your channel? Just like
March
4
1st.
months ago. What?
March
1st, dude.
My birthday. I picked that date intentionally.
Dude, that is so great. March 1st. He's been at it for barely 5 months, 4 months, and he's got 450 subs. And every, video has, I've lost my mouse, has over 100 views, 900 views, and his shorts are getting like gajillions of views. And this is just like, it's so fun, guys. I can't emphasize how fun it is. I haven't gone through all the shorts yet, but the shorts look great. It's very well thought.
I'm loving. Like, you never know. It's so interesting. I'm trying to figure out the formula, and you never know, like one video will just go crazy and then another will just sit. And it's like, why? So I was in Paris in March. I went for the Dolce & Gabbana exhibit that was there, and I brought back butter. And so one of my shorts tells the story about bringing butter back,
okay.
And like I'm over 10,000 views on that short.
Oh, get out. Are you serious? On the short?
Yeah,
wow, dude, amazing. Okay, so this was really this was like not a typical, maybe, I don't know. In this vinyl community world where I'm existing, this is not a typical path. People just kind of wing it. They all come on and they're like, I think I saw a Yahoo making a video. I can make a video. But you were very calculated in this. You obviously have been planning for years. You've been planning. I heard you mentioned you've been planning it for a very long time. Tell us about the name, the Consummate Host. Where does that come from?
Well, I love that you asked that. So it's so interesting. I grew up with that term. So the consummate host is like a very given term. So I need to, you know what? I'm glad you asked. I need to do my research. I'm going to say I know it. I identify it from like the 50s. You know, you think of like 50s housewife, you think of, or just, you know, the person that knows the exact same thing to do for everything. And not only do they know how to do it, but are effortless at doing it. So that's an actual term. So the consummate host is something that's been known. And it's interesting. I kind of vacillated on the idea of using that for my name, but I decided, you know what, if people are not familiar with it, then they need to learn it. So that's going to be part of my mission to educate people on that.
It's a great word, consummate. I think I kind of looked it up. I know the word, but I love the word actually. He's the consummate host. He's you know, and but you can actually it's almost like what's the other word, like notorious. It can be like he's the consummate villain or something. You can also use it in this term. He's the over the top perfected version of the thing. And so, yeah, the Consummate Host is a perfect name. And the freaking Consummate Host is a great URL. It's a great YouTube.
That was really the birth of me doing this. And so okay. I was working out one morning. I was in my head during the workout, and I had this moment where I was like, okay, it's time to do this. It's time to pull the trigger and make this happen. I stopped my workout. I got on my phone. I went to GoDaddy, and the URL was available. And that's when I told you that was like the divine message of like, yes,
you have to do it.
Do it, right? So I bought the domain in the gym.
You're so lucky.
Finished my workout, and then I was just like, you know, on cloud 9 the whole drive home because I was so excited. So that was, you know, that was my signal.
Okay. Well, Wayne is a fabulous stylist and has an amazing sense of design and fashion and just artistic mind, and he has got his trademark mustache here, and you'll see so many details, and he invites you into his amazing home and his amazing world of everything from like handkerchiefs to turquoise to the tiles in his kitchen to his glassware. And it's a very interesting look into somebody who really cares about details. The coffee one, actually, is that the one you suggested? The coffee one?
That's a good one. A good.
Let me pull this up because I hope this will work. Let's see. I might need to reshare with sound. Let's see if the sound will come up. He looks so cool.
Oh, so this is a good one too.
Oh, come on, baby.
This is the home bar.
Don't fail me now.
Also a good one.
Oh, blast. We're getting a lag issue. Are you getting sound, Wayne?
I'm getting sound, but it is laggy. It's a little laggy.
Okay, that was a little nerve-wracking. Well, let's just zip through it and we'll see a few screenshots. God, I want to really encourage everybody to go check it out because yeah, I'm not a pro at live streaming actual videos, but are we sharing the screen yet? No. Sorry guys, a little clunky here. Come on. There we go. Okay, so Wayne's in his living room, or I guess this is not your living room. This is your den or something. What is this?
It's more like my den. Yeah. And that's my
and he's got his bar here in the back.
Co-host next to me on the sofa.
Who's this? Who's this little one?
That's Chi-Chi, my co-host.
Okay, Chi-Chi. And Chi-Chi's got a couple of siblings, no? Or is there just one? Is Chi-Chi?
There's three, and they're ever present.
Okay, and you've got this amazing sofa. I can't go into so much detail, but you've got who's the designer on the sofa?
Roche Bobois.
Okay, we ought to know this. He's got some cool lamp. These aren't like really outrageous, inaccessible things. I know that you kind of talk. I know you, you've got your Dolce and Gabbana, French press, but you also like thrifting at the dollar store. And
let me
so
just.
I'm
going to stop you right there. I'm going to stop you right there because I want to jump in on exactly where you're going. Right.
Okay.
So I'm going to step back a little because you were kind of asking me on kind of where this came from and my influences and all of that. And I love to tell the story. I just have to say that a lot of my influence did come from my mother. And at a very young age, I tell the story as soon as I was tall enough to reach the dining room table. The responsibility of setting the table became mine. And I was an only child, no siblings. So I grew up with a very defined set of roles and responsibilities in my house. And I tell, I'm kind of the champion for the only child because everybody likes to go, oh, spoiled, blah, And I love to tell people that, yes, I feel like I had everything I wanted. Most importantly, support and inspiration and access to things like music lessons and art lessons and really anything that I wanted to do. But my parents were very good about my responsibilities in the house. And so setting the table was one of the first things that I can remember being my responsibility. And I love to tell people, in the beginning, let's say for the first few years of this role, of course, I'm trying to replicate exactly what I was taught and how to do it. The knife and the spoons on the right and the forks on the left and the big fork closer, the dinner fork closer to the plate and the salad fork to the outside and all that, right? So I'm thinking about all of that. Then, of course, with my ADHD personality, I'm like, well, this is boring. Let's make it exciting. And so then I start getting creative. So then we start folding the napkin. Then we start putting the napkin in the water glass. And maybe we put the silverware in the water glass too. And it just evolves from there. So it really did start at a very young age. So the passion was kind of established and kind of in line with the story that I just told you. That's also the message I try to tell people. We have rules about things, and I love talking. I've done a lot of talk. I've done interior design also. I love talking about design, and this is going to resonate with you, Brian. We love rules because we love to break the rules. But what I tell people is you've got to understand the rule or the philosophy, or you've got to understand it and know why you're breaking it versus just doing whatever the heck you want and saying, well, I broke the rule. It doesn't work that way. But that's kind of why I try to empower people through the messages or the lessons or the tips I give, but then just say, this is how I do it how you want to do it. This is how I do it and it works. So maybe you can do your own version, so it's really about, for me, it's about empowering. That's really what my goal is.
Yeah, I think you've got. I want to get into the format of your various videos, but you have a special moment in the video. We'll get to it later. But you say that and there's a bunch of little like isms and a bunch of little tidbits of wisdom that we can take, and one of them is like. Let's see, it's not about creating perfection. It's about creating an experience that's right for you, and there's lots of little tidbits in here. So I really took to heart a lot of these and lots more. And I think that's a great notion that to be able to bend the rules and to get that little mischievous hit of, oh, I did it. So that was fun. Yeah, you do. You have to first know the tenets of where what is that called? Finishing school? Did you go to finishing school? I think I had to do that once when I was about 11 years old. And you did have to learn where the right forks went. But I'm still like, it's fun. It's fun to have those experiences, and it's also fun to just kind of throw it caution to the wind, and just like nobody really, everybody's thinking sometimes this, they're having the same insecurities that you might be, but I think you do breathe a lot of like confidence into these things that you're doing. You know, like I don't host that many parties. I do host like these online streams, and part of the thing that I want to achieve is like for everybody to feel welcome and for everybody to feel that they've been seen and heard and that they've had, a wow kind of moment. But I often don't really think about like creating an experience that that works for me. I'm trying to like kind of like work for them. And I really do kind of like how you are so obsessed with, in a good way with, max, two random colors juxtaposed on each other, or taking a material that doesn't belong and putting these things together. And you do things because you're inspired to do them. So I really love this idea. Let me point out a few things on this. It's unfortunate that we can't watch this, but this is the bar. Sorry, this is not the coffee bar. Sorry, I got the wrong one.
Right,
but let me just point out real quick. This cabinet that you see over here on the left. Mm-hmm. This is actually like something that was salvaged. It was reclaimed from like a furniture place that you mentioned, right?
We have a place here called the Restore. So it's part of Habitat for Humanity. So and they're nationwide. They're throughout the U.S. So that's somebody obviously remodeled the kitchen. So that was a double oven cabinet that they ripped out of their kitchen. So that whole middle opening part is where I have all the glassware and the bottles. And
maybe I can get to it.
Yeah, that would have been.
There's a good view of it.
Let's see.
Where an oven would have been. And somebody remodeled a home. They took this piece of wall to this Habitat for Humanity. You brought it home. You redid it with wall coverings when you decided on something really interesting, and you put this molding on it. I don't want to. And then you really went over the top with it. And this is your bar. I'm lost to the words. Your wet bar at your home. Or what are you calling this? Yeah.
Exactly. So then the cabinet became the base of the whole thing. So I added the butcher block countertop that I stained chartreuse. I wanted to have the wine fridge. I did the back. Well, you'll appreciate this. The back is covered with vintage LP jackets. So the whole back of the bar is LP jackets. And I
was excited to share that, Wayne. I wanted to share that.
I stole your thunder. I'm sorry. Can we erase that? Can we back up?
No, it's so cool. Just to reiterate that. It's so inventive and so cool. Like a little Tokyo record style moment here. He's taken all of these kind of classic, like, 60s mambo and sort of Harry Belafonte and maybe records from, old jazz records. I have no. Were you selective about this at all?
I was. Well, okay, you're gonna laugh. It was all based on color. So I knew the era that I wanted of the record jackets, but it was all based on, and the records are still in the record jackets. So they're still there.
No way, really? That's so cool. So you can see over here that he's got lots of different kinds of glasses and glassware, and he's got these beautiful carafes, and he talks about, the 7 different important liquors that you need in your liquor cabinet, and the various combinations for the 20 or 30, standard cocktails that you can make with this 5 different ingredients. And these are the glasses that you use. And you don't have to necessarily do it exactly right, but you can mix and match and do that. And this is just like one example, a great one too, about not only making like the space and imagining the whole concept of a bar inside your home and eventually hosting people to that bar, but about, bringing life to it and activating it, and like not only just having it be something to behold in the house, but it's this living thing that you get to interact with, and changes how you host a party and how you interact with people. It's really, really cool, inventive idea. And it's like, it's not just, I'm really disappointed we can't share more of it, but also, like, let me just point out, look how freaking sharp Wayne looks, man. He's got his, what's that jacket called? Does that have a name? Boy, that's sharp.
It's thrift. It's a vintage 70s. You can tell by the collar. It's total 70s,
And And he's got the matching green silk shirt, the fedora or whatever it is. He's got the feather in his hat. The like, what's this
Wait,
koi fish on the lapel?
Ask, can you see above my artwork?
Hold on, let me stop sharing this.
There's the
okay, hold on. Let me make you big. Just a second.
There we go. The hats live in my office. So.
Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness.
So.
Okay. Okay, we're getting a little lag issue, but this is just like one example of how great what kind of visual candy you're going to see on Wayne's page. And it's like, let me just pull it up real quick. It's how to like set up a coffee bar, and when you welcome guests who are staying overnight, maybe they're going to go get a coffee later in the early morning or later in the morning, but maybe they need one before they get out of the house, and maybe they want French press, and maybe they want this, and it doesn't take a whole lot of effort to make a really welcoming experience for guests. There's how to host a perfect party. This was an interesting, I don't know if we should go through these one by one. Let me pull it up one more time, and let's just we'll look at a few more. And I gotta point this out. So obviously what he did was so this first video that you see here, it's Chatham Artillery Punch. You went to Savannah and you found this local drink, and the woman was like, you boys ever heard of Chatham Artillery Punch? And you said, no, we have not, but we want to. And you learned how to make this incredible cocktail. And I love the go big or go home. He brings out this enormous crystal bowl that's perfect for hosting. I think it's made several appearances on the channel. It's sort of a crowd favorite. And he teaches you how to make this amazing cocktail that's infused with sweet tea, and it's amazing. The next video is the how to set up a coffee bar I just mentioned, the home bar that we just talked about. Then it's how to host a perfect party. And I just want to point out that this was really, so all of these have, what do they call them? I think they call them bumpers or something. There's a little intro video. There's a few little ding, 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 dings, things that pop up. This wasn't just none of this was winged. It was very conceptualized. And what they did was they got, when I say they, I assume it's more than you, because this is seems like quite a production.
Well, that was my 57th birthday party. And thank you.
3 months ago. Happy belated birthday.
But it was also the launch of the Consummate Host.
That's what.
So what I wanted to do was just create an event where I could have as many people from my community come in and come to the party. And we showed the first episode. So I just so you know, I call it, I stay 4 episodes in the bank. So I'm always 4 episodes ahead.
There you go.
So on the launch, March 1st, that was the day that episode 1 went live. And the day of that party and of that launch, we actually filmed episode 4. So I love staying ahead. And especially because I travel a lot, it makes it easier for me to have the flexibility. So if I need to double up, or if I need to take a week off and then catch up when I get back, but that's also just my personality. But the idea of filming, editing, and launching an episode all in the same week, I would never sleep if that's how I did it. So I like to stay ahead. And plus, it's so interesting. I love to share this, and I see there's several people that are watching that know me and have followed me on this. When I got ready to launch the Consummate Host, so I do 1 episode a week, and I mapped out 1 year of content. So I had 52 episodes planned before I launched. And once we pulled the trigger and launched, it has become so organic that I don't think I've even done 5 off of the list, off of the roadmap. So I made a roadmap and now I'm not following it. I'm I'm going to go off road, but it's been great. And then I get ideas, and also I hear from people. And when people ask questions, it kind of informs me about the nature of the type of things people might be looking for. So I try to be responsive to that as well.
I can relate, and I'm just in total admiration. There was like the amount of effort, especially as somebody who's like working on sets and behind the camera and understands all the moving parts of something like this. I can just really see it all, and man, just kudos. It's such a good start, and you are destined for glory. You're going to have so many followers. And that's why I'm so kind of honored to have you here, because I'm going to be able to say, oh, I had him. I knew him before he had 500 subscribers. And you're so good at it. And just this, I mean, not only are you just, you have the stage presence, you are so good about not having an audible uhs and ahs and and ums. You're so well you're articulate and well spoken. You're so I don't want to like make your head too big, but you're just so good at it. And like this idea, I want to reiterate this. He made 4 videos, then he hosted a birthday party and premiered the debut video and the entire series at the party, and he recorded, and that party became a video on how to host a party. It's so many layers of inception on that, dude. It's so cool and so ingenious. So mad respect for pulling that off. Then there's the Ultimate Mimosa Bar. And it's unfortunate we can't, but Ultimate Mimosa Bar is like, prepare 4 different mimosas. It's really interesting. And it's like, you'll have to jog my memory on what they are, but it was like, all you have to do a mimosa, here's this one, and here's this one, and there's 2 ounces of lime, and he walks you through the thing really slow, and nothing is like glossed over. Like there was a few questions where they seemed kind of like they didn't necessarily need to be explained to me, but you're so good at just kind of slowing it down and making sure that even the simple parts like are clear. And I appreciated like the reiteration of these. And the notion on some of these videos is that, oh gosh, is that, you're going to create this experience, not just for your guests to come and to indulge in, but to co-create with you, which I really appreciated. And it was like the Mimosa Bar is like, make the bar, build it, and they will come. You build this like cool bar, and everybody gets to come and participate in the experience that you've created for them, which I really like. That was really cool. It's not just about like how to host a party for people. It's how to host like an experience for people to come and participate in it. The fun Easter egg is a perfect example of that. Can you go off on that? That one was absolutely amazing. I'll pull up a few little screenshots of it. This was, I assume, for Easter. This co-aligned with Easter.
So it just really, so what I did was, to be honest with you, I hosted, and I several of the people that were at my Easter brunch are watching, so I love that. But I hosted a small, intimate Easter brunch at my house. So putting together that whole thing generated 3 episodes. So it generated the watermelon gazpacho, green apple brie, chili jam, grilled cheese. So that was one episode, the food. Then the Mimosa Bar, that was another episode. And then finally, the egg decorating. So all of those were the elements of the brunch that I hosted, but I turned it into, 3 episodes. And just the whole egg decorating thing was just super fun. There's so many different ways of, it's not just dipping your egg in colored dye anymore. These are, one of the techniques, my favorite. It's kind of subtle, but it's my favorite. You wrap an egg in onion skin, and then you boil the egg tied up with onion skin. And the onion skin has a natural dye component that makes the egg look marbled. And they're gorgeous. And then you put a little bit of oil on them. After you're done, put them in a bowl. They're beautiful. And you can still eat them. They're hard-boiled eggs. But we just did all kinds. And it was all hands-on, exactly what you said. So all my guests participated. So I had it mapped out. So we went through each of the stations, and people could pick which one they wanted to do, or do all of them, whatever. So I'll share a little spoiler alert on an upcoming episode. It'll be out in 2 weeks. And this is just going back to what you were saying, Brian, about, creating activity for your guests in an event. So it's basically a build your own pizza party, but instead of using dough, you use a tortilla as the base. And it's fabulous. It's like a thin crust pizza. It's really good. And then you just put all the stuff out and everybody goes in and puts together their single serving size pizza, pop it in the oven for 4 minutes so it doesn't take long. And it's total hands-on.
Well, I was totally, I mean, you mentioned the onion. You basically peel the outer skin of the onion, you've got different shades and hues. And as he just explained, you cut them up that was remarkable. That was one way to dye an egg. There was 3 other ways to dye an egg, one of which included like cutting like neckties and getting pure silk and creating, I mean, it was just like mind-boggling. And then there was this big party that you could just got a glimpse of at the end with a dozen people sitting around the table, and everybody's playing and everybody's having fun and everybody's forgotten about, oh, it's going to be a busy week, or, oh, I have that presentation to give tomorrow. And it just like, I thought, oh, we need more of this in our lives. We need to be taken off of our screens a little bit. The irony isn't lost on me, but
I feel like that's another responsibility of being a host, not even in social settings. I mean, in all settings where you're guiding people through an experience, you want to bring them into that experience. And I do talk about that in the Easter brunch episode because, you know, everybody's hands were dirty. Everybody was doing something tactile. Everybody was engaging. There was pieces of fabric being shared across the table and colors and all these different things and multiple conversations going on amidst all the different people. And for me to be there and see that's when I feel successful as a host, because you've successfully, created this. So you started to say something earlier, and I think I know where you were going with it, but we got off track. You were talking about like my isms and my things like that.
Yeah.
So, okay.
Get into it. What's your philosophy on hosting, Wayne?
I'm going to tell you, and I make no qualms about the fact that I took this from a very specific experience in my life. I was very fortunate. In the early 2000s, I was working in the private club industry, and I was just blessed that I got this incredible job in Orange County, California. I was the member relations director at the Coto de Casa Golf and Racquet Club. And if that sounds familiar, that's Real Housewives of Orange County. Okay. So I was working at the country club in their neighborhood. So at the time, again, this was early 2000s. At the time, like our initiation deposit just to belong to the club was $150,000. That just got your foot in the door. And, we had members that used the club for business, family dining, etc. And they would have dues lines of $20,000 or $30,000 a month for their club usage. My responsibility, I worked hand in hand with membership. So membership gets them to write the check and join the club. Member relations gets them to stay. So everything I did in that environment was creating the reasons that people would want to stay at that club. I was terrified of my boss at the time. He was a legend in the company and was just, he was so meticulous about everything. And I think I was there for 2 years. And I think being under him is also probably part of what just reinforced the way I do things now, where like every detail counts, So anyway, where I'm going with that is my 3 touchstones for everything that I do is every experience has to have a warm welcome, magic moment, and fond farewell. So that's kind of like my guideline for creating experience. And Brian, I was thinking about this. That could totally transfer to your virtual world.
Yeah, I was thinking the same thing. Magic. It's warm welcome.
Magic moment.
Magic moment and fond farewell. I love it.
So my brain now, regardless of what I'm doing, those 3, because if you think about it, basically you're framing the experience, the beginning, the middle, and the end. That's what all of those are. So whenever I'm thinking about something, I'll be, I still do very selective event design for clients that I have here. I've got a wedding coming up in 2 months. I'm doing a bar mitzvah and a bat mitzvah next year. when I approach those projects, I think about the exact same thing. What is the warm welcome, the magic moment, the fond farewell? Because it helps you pace the event, you know? And again, this can be anything. It can be hosting somebody in your home, an overnight guest, a corporate event. It can be anything, but it just kind of helps your brain think about that. And if you think about this too, when I think about the world of live streams, which I've watched, there's there's kind of like a flow to what happens. And so if you're thinking about these components, it helps you control that flow. So even though it's not a physical event, it's still kind of the same idea. And okay, you might guess I'm a little bit of a control freak when it comes to like events and experiences, only in the sense that I want things to go as well as I see them in my head, right? So when you're thinking about those elements, it gives you kind of like timelines with what you're doing. So, you know, obviously the warm welcome is at the beginning. The magic moment is somewhere in the middle. Like it gives, maybe it refreshes what's going on in the experience. And then the fond farewell is what you want your participants to leave with, right? Like that's how you're saying goodbye and leaving whatever the impression is that you want them to take with them, right? So when you were kind of challenging me with this idea of going from, you know, in real life to virtual, that was one of the things I thought, well, I think that could transfer. You know, that doesn't have to be a physical thing.
Yeah, I think in the virtual space. Okay, let me give you a little bit of background. Now, I'm not necessarily the most qualified person to talk about this. Actually, let's give ourselves just a little break. Let's come back to I want to talk about the vinyl community, but let me give ourselves a little bit of a break, and let's just say hello to our what do we call you? Our pals here in the chat. I'm so sorry that I've gone.
I'm going to say hi to Leanne right off the bat because I see her commenting and committing, and I love it.
Dot Steiner, University of Vinyl says Dot Steiner is still okay. My wife and I go there regularly. We're in Fort Collins. Oh, that's poor Peter, the guy who ran the diner, died a couple of years ago. He was a hero to so many. Excited to see you and Wayne. Oh, Edgar Lopez is in the house. Stuff, Edgar. Nice to see you. Wayne can talk about anything and everything, so, as can I. So we're going to be, we're going to be two peas in a pod here. Ninja Cat Matt's in the house. Denver, Colorado. Sorry, I'm just getting to everybody. My friend Stunty is in Sweden. Hello, Mario and Luigi. Oh, we're Mario and Luigi.
I love that. I saw that early on. I meant to make a comment. No, I saw that early on. And
we do kind of have a Mario and Luigi thing going on. It's true. Yes, and the gallery is getting some entertainment from that. This is kind of an interesting little anecdote. You'll notice that the comment that's coming up, it's in parentheses in the brackets. Yeah, you notice that? That's something that my pal here, 4D Man, came up with. When the host is hosting and trying to engage with the chat, and there's two people in the gallery who are communicating with each other, it's a nice little etiquette to put your parentheses between, or put your comment between parentheses, and that can signify to the host that you can skip over that comment. It's only addressed to somebody else in the peanut gallery.
I love that.
So there's probably other things like that I wonder if I can sort of help establish with maybe your consultation.
Absolutely.
Right. Let's see. Identify as a Peach. What are you talking about? Oh, Princess Peach. Okay, we got more Mario references here. A nice comment here that I should skip over because it's between the brackets, but it just mentions 1 tin of tomato and chorizo soup, heat sauce. Oh no, this is not. We shouldn't have read this one. But that grilled cheese sandwich, man, the brie sharp cheddar.
Okay, actually, I'm gonna 4D Man. Thank you for that, because that has actually triggered something that I want to share. No, and it just, you know,
Go for it.
This actually came out in another interview that I was doing. So I have a good friend here. Shout out to my friend Marina Monsiváis here in El Paso. She hosts a radio program called State of the Arts. So it focuses on all cool, artful things going on in our community, people that are doing things. But she interviewed me, so we were talking. And Marina's known me since the 80s. So we go way back. But she was just talking about, and, you know, she hosts herself and does things. And she was like, you know, but I'm the person that just like goes to Costco and buys the ready whatever. And I said, and I was so glad that she said that when we were having this conversation, because there are times when that is absolutely appropriate. It's absolutely appropriate. Okay, my happy spot is when I have the time to be in the kitchen. I love the preparation. I hosted a meatloaf dinner like maybe 6 months ago, and I cooked all day. Like, me and my cousin that was like helping me like host it, we were literally in the kitchen from 9 a.m. till we served our guests till 6:30, and it was like heaven. I loved it. We laughed, we told stories, you know, we there was so much in the preparation. Loved it. Time is a luxury. We all know that. And so we don't always have that kind of a resource to host or prepare something. And sometimes you got to just go buy the bag of cubed cheese, the pre-rolled pastrami, you know, some crackers, ready-made hummus. I at least put it on a good dish. Okay. I mean, you got to go that far. You know, you don't put the plastic tub on the table for sure. But and my point with that to Marina was, you have to deal in whatever your situation is. You know, if you're in a situation where you know you're not going to have the time, or maybe you don't have the resources to do it yourself, then absolutely do what you need to do to make it happen. And that's okay. You know, it's absolutely okay. You know, I think people, I don't know, maybe they're fearful that it's, you know, like, un-PC to like do that. But let's just call that survival. You know, like sometimes you just have to do what you have to do. And it requires being resourceful.
It's magnanimous, I think, to give people, as the consummate host, to give people that permission. I totally agree with you, and it's really important. And I think sometimes those, you know, I used to make pizza with the, you know, the fresh mozzarella, and you know, sometimes I'd even make my own mozzarella, right? And then like one day they didn't have the fresh mozzarella at the place, and I had to go for this crappy, you know, processed cheese, and the pizza was like 100 times better, you know?
Right, exactly.
Right.
No, and like, so I told you, I just like it hasn't come out yet, but we've already filmed the episode about doing the pizzas on the tortilla. That was new to me. And I want to say something else too. And another reason that I love so much about what I'm doing, this is discovery for me as well. I'm like, I have the inclination to do all of this, but I am constantly looking for like new ideas and new resources. I love cookbooks, and I am always on the hunt for cookbooks because they inspire me. You know, first of all, I love touching pages of a book when I'm looking for a recipe versus just jumping online and finding something. But you know, I love just being in this kind of learning and growth period for myself as well. And then, you know, try things, experiment, and then share them. So it keeps it, I think that's part of what keeps it exciting and fresh for me.
I got in the habit of baking chickens and whole chickens. And
like,
one day I was like, I wonder what would happen if I went.
You could bake many chickens at once, or
one at a time. And I always, you know, was like parsley, sage, rosemary, and thyme. You know, I was basically like made a turkey. And then one day I think I was like, I wonder if I'd like douse this, if I, you know, spice this thing with curry. I wonder what would happen, right? And then I was like, that's like what tandoori chicken kind of is, right? So I just like dumped I you know, covered in curry and, you know, whatever these like spices were, garam masala, and it was so good. And then I was like, I wonder what would happen if I put like, if I did it with like cinnamon, like, and like something like really weird. And it was like, maybe not again, but it was worth a try. And then like I did it with like nothing, you know. I was like, I wonder what happens if it's just salt, you know. It was so good. And there's something to be, again, like back to that notion. It's like, if you know, if you know the basic, if you know ground, if you know from where the rule came, and then it's like, you know, it's okay to bend it. And I don't know where I was going with that, but yeah, experimentation is like a really fun aspect of, and I love this idea that there are no rules, and that you can definitely break the rules, and that's okay. So 40 man, the only critique that you have here is that you have to get a plate. Okay. You can't eat it out of the tin. Okay. You got to get yourself
Exactly. So somebody asked, what do you call the pizza tortillas? I don't know what the name is. They're just kind of like single serving tortillas.
Oh,
I mean,
you got to coin a name for them, Wayne. It's yours for
I,
the taking.
I could probably go back to the inspiration source, and they probably did have a name for it. I just don't remember it. So, but they're like single serving.
So 40 says he two women separately had a mission to teach me to cook. One was a radical feminist who believed men can't cook, to manipulate women to cook. Oh, okay. Even she lost patience and banished me from the kitchen. Okay, well, that's not good. Yeah, so here I'm eating tomato and chorizo soup from a saucepan. All right, well, level up. You can always like baby steps. I'm guilty as charged. There's that scene from Sideways, where he drinks the super expensive wine from the styrofoam cup under the McDonald's booth or whatever, which I love that. I've been fortunate to be inspired by Wayne's style since the 90s, says Texas Schmitty. Dude, I am too. I mean, and just like to call it out, my friend went to Taiwan to get this apron. I noticed your aprons are quite cool. And your little leather apron with the leather straps, much like this one. I'll just show it off for a second. I don't know. We can find out where this one is, but it's kind of like asymmetrical.
Oh,
and it's got like a line that goes this way, and like and it's zipper. You can actually make it it's got like
a vest.
Yeah, it's like convertible. It's like pretty interesting. And I was like, I don't use it, but I'm gonna use it. I'm inspired to use it after seeing a bunch of your videos.
I love it. So I have to take a moment. I'm going to do a huge shout out to my friend Leanne. That's Texas Schmitty that's commenting right now. So a huge part of my life and world is in the marching band drum corps arena. So not only was I a band geek and did I march drum corps, for 20 years, I was involved in the kind of marching band design, concept, choreography, costuming, equipment design world. Leanne was one of my first students. She was the color guard captain at the high school that I was teaching at here in El Paso. And we are now lifelong friends. And I just, I love telling that story because you just never know the paths that we have all taken to get where we are. In fact, Leanne is going to love this. I had told Brian earlier, I've been up since 4 a.m. I did this wall installation, but I also had to sit down and catch up on YouTube. We're getting near the end of the drum corps season over the summer. So I was watching drum corps competitions on YouTube for about an hour this morning while Brian was talking about vinyl.
Wow, that's interesting. Yeah, I unfortunately the high school I went to didn't really have a very strong music program, unfortunately, and we didn't have band. The teams that we played against, in basketball and football all did, but we did not. And but I can imagine those like costumes can be quite imaginative, and I imagine it's a great place to explore fashion design. And I'm thinking of like what's the rock and roll suit, the nudie suit, right? I'm picturing like the band has got this like embroidery things going up the legs and like little embroidered like sort of military things on their vests. But anyway, that would be like an interesting world to explore. I wanted to give let me come back to the video real quick. I know we're going all over the place, but one last final comment about the sort of rolling with the Costco cheese cubes or whatever, like whatever the situation calls for in photography. And thank you again for decorating your home with the photos. I'm a photographer. That's I think what we're talking about, and I probably made Wayne's photo before. I don't remember well, but people ask photographers. I've been asked like, what's the worst thing that can go wrong on a photography set? And is it the lens breaking? Is it the forgetting the film or the memory card? Is it the model being, not working well with you? No, it's that nobody has ideas. The most important thing on a set is to, especially when there's a problem, is to pivot and iterate. And
Oh God, yeah.
it's like that's really where the excitement of creativity and creation comes from, is like constraints and how to solve the problem. And throughout your video series, I see tons of little, you had like a napkin holder that was like, you had like some extra fabric, and you were like, you know what, I think I'll turn this into something else and I'll repurpose it. And I wasn't planning to do this, but now this makes perfect sense for me. And you're iterating, and it's just this constant flow of creativity, which is really cool. The other thing that I wanted to say about one of your friends here, I wondered if Texas Schmitty was someone else who, in your video series, you've made a couple of field trips. It's not just you in your home. And thank you actually for like welcoming us as viewers into your home, because I don't really let people into my home. I let people here, but your home is an artwork in itself. And I've seen, I kind of am getting a little bit of a lay of the land by watching these videos, and there's just art on every single surface, whether it be vertical or horizontal, and everywhere. And so I commend you for doing that. But it's the video series is not only of you in your heart, in your home. It's of you at this party that we mentioned before. It's you went to Paris. And you, like you said, you brought back this butter, and there was a little bit of you visiting Champs-Élysées and this crazy Macron shop, and you brought back napkins from the shop. How did that come to pass? I was a little bit curious. Did you ask them?
So no, that I bought the napkins actually at a store. So
Okay.
thank you for opening that door. I'm going to walk through it and talk about it a bit.
Okay.
So I do a quarterly episode, so roughly, 4 times a year, called Wayne's Wanderlist. So Wayne's Wanderlist talks about how travel inspires me in the space of hosting. So my inaugural Wanderlist episode was the Paris trip. So I was there in March. And again, I went very specifically. Dolce & Gabbana has this incredible 40-year retrospective that they had at the Grand Palais, which I now just found out is in Rome. And I'm actually super happy to report that exhibit is going to continue traveling globally. So anybody watching,
good.
If you have a chance to see, it's called From the Heart to the Hands, and it's a 40-year retrospective of Dolce & Gabbana. And I mean, it's unbelievable. The craftsmanship is incredible. So that was my, so not only did I bring home butter, but I brought home spices, I brought home fabrics. I'm going to be hosting a French dinner. So I wanted, things that I could use to do that. I talked about buying postcards to use as invitations for the dinner.
That was so cool.
All different things, So, and I'm sure you caught this, Brian, but like every morning our hotel had breakfast included. So every morning they had these little jams, and the strawberry jam jars on top of the lid, they had like the fruit of what the jam was. Okay. So strawberry, it looked like, of course, I live in El Paso. I love Mexico, is my favorite country, total Latino influence. What was supposed to be a strawberry to me looked like the flaming heart. We see the flaming.
Oh, sure, yeah.
I was like, oh, I love these. So every morning I would take like 3 of these little jams. So
like, can I have your jam? Do you mind if you're not going to?
No, they had them in bowls on the table.
Oh, wonderful.
I could just take them with me. So I brought home like a dozen of these strawberry jams, and they're like great little gifts. Like those have been they're a great fond farewell, like a little gift bag with that jam in it for guests to take. Great fond farewell.
Well, the thing that I was thinking about was like, okay, you go into this Macron shop at this famous place, and you can't bring back, or I don't know if they need to be you can't bring back, Macrons for everybody.
Right.
But you can like probably coerce the staff into like taking or buying a stack of, whether they be like coasters or napkins or matchbooks or whatever. And like, that was clever and forward thinking. And you're like, I know I'm going to have a party, a French inspired party. I'm going to like that. This will be fun and cute, and people will get a kick out of it. It won't be the real thing, but it'll be a taste of the real thing, and nobody will care because, so it's the thought that counts.
Yeah, it's La Durée. La Durée is the Macron shop in France. And so, yes, I came home with a stack of napkins like this big.
Right.
But yeah,
Well, a
I
quick
did
Japanese,
back
a
home.
quick, a quick Japanese anecdote. I once didn't give my parents-in-law a souvenir. I
Mm-mm.
forgot to give my parents a souvenir on the trip that I went on,
Uh-uh.
and I got in trouble for it. I got kind of scolded, not by my parents-in-law, but my wife,
Of
And
course.
then I tried to make up for it the next time, and I bought my father-in-law like a hat, and I bought my mother-in-law like a little water bottle, and I got in trouble for that.
Oh no, because it was
I
the
was like,
wrong thing.
I know I learned this lesson about Japan that I would it just sounds so obvious until unless you did somebody didn't just spell it out for you. But it doesn't really matter what you get somebody, and that's why you should give them something actually like cheap. It doesn't even matter what it is, but it should be perishable. Because if you give them something physical that you're burdening them with to produce it every time you meet up with them,
I love that.
and so it doesn't really matter what it is so long as it's gone. All that matters truly is that you thought of them,
Right.
right?
I love
So
that. I love
yeah,
the idea of giving something perishable. That's like a great concept.
yeah, it's the gift you're giving is that you thought of them. And that's why sometimes it's like it's over the top. You have sometimes to wait in line for an hour to get some silly thing from that brand that only sells it at that one place
Right.
that you can get at the next place that's just as good and even cheaper and better. The fact that you waited in line, that's the gift you're
Right.
giving them.
Exactly. Well, so I'll give you like a version of that. So
Okay.
I actually brought home like 4 different types of butter from Paris. And
Okay.
so as soon as I got home, I divided it up, went into the freezer, and I used that butter for probably a good month and a half in cooking. So that kind of became a gift, like to give to guests, like using Paris butter, right? And just the flavor is so amazing. And, it just, that became a really cool, I mean, I not that it's perishable, but it's kind of in that same
No,
idea.
I love it. I love it. It's love. It's a little piece of Paris back
Yeah.
all the way. It's from far away. By
Yeah.
the way, I loved your little butter container there was like a little dog or a horse or
Bird.
something on
It's got a bird.
bird.
My
Okay, yeah, that was
porcelain
really.
butter dish with the bird on
My
top.
mother would love that. My mother would absolutely. But one more field trip I wanted to point out that you took, and I'm not sure if it's on here, but I think it was the cookie one. You made this really simple, amazing chocolate chip cookie recipe. And hold on, if you guys can see this like preview, look at this turquoise that is on Wayne's wrist. He's got a giant, gorgeous, probably, I don't want to embarrass you, but probably a extremely valuable piece of turquoise and silver on his wrist. I'm guessing that's from the Southwest, something very vintage and collectible, and something that I want to get into a little bit later. But you will see, if you watch Wayne's videos, you will see them filled with an amazing jewelry and specifically silver and turquoise collection. Yes?
Yes.
Let's talk about it in a little bit. But so he bakes these cookies and then he goes to this shop, and I thought maybe that the bandmate you mentioned, Texas Schmitty, I thought, oh, is this the bootmaker girl? Is this the bootmaker gal? It's not the same person, right?
No, it's different. So yeah, Leanne and I actually just kind of recently reconnected, and so obviously she was top of mind, and I wanted to invite her to this. But no, let me just share this story. Actually, I have a really great story. So my friend Navina Christie has this amazing business, Rocket Buster Boots. So everybody Google Rocket Buster Boots.
Let's write it down. Rocket Buster.
One word, Rocket Buster Boots.
Got it.
Every pair, a work of art. And if you watch that video, you will see it. Okay. It's it's like boots to the stars. Every pair is custom made. I'm going to tell you right now, they're 9 to 12 months out on orders. So even if you showed up today, unless you're Shabuzi that needs them for the Grammys, they pushed those through in like 2 weeks. But if you're off the street, there's going to be a long kind of a long wait period. But no, so we went down and we made chocolate chip cookies here in the house. And then we went down and just surprised Navina, and we did cookies and milk, and just, you know, all the artisans were there, and we just had this really great afternoon. You know, and I love Rocket Buster because I feel like it's so indicative of El Paso and our region. So actually, I'm getting ready as the Consummate Host. I'm going to be hosting the red carpet. So I mentioned that the Plaza Classic Film Festival is going on right now. So we're having a world premiere of a new film on this coming Saturday called Long Shadows. And so William Shockley is the director. The producer is from El Paso. A lot of the actors are coming in, and the premiere's on Friday. The premiere's on Saturday. But Friday, when William and his wife arrive, we're picking them up. They're all staying downtown at the Historic Plaza Hotel. But then I'm taking them over to Rocket Buster Boots, and we're going to do a little cocktail warm welcome for them and really welcome them to our city like El Paso style. So it'll be in that same environment that you saw in the cookie episode. But it's welcoming this kind of entire team for the premiere of this movie. My friend Paula, who you've seen in a few episodes also, is a costume designer, and she was the costume designer on that film. So a lot of fun people coming to El Paso that we're going to be hosting here. And like I said, just showing them some of the experiences, you know, that make El Paso unique.
That's so cool. I mean, you guys and your posse of homies who I know as well, you guys are such champions of El Paso and Juarez. And
all of it. It's like we all drink the Kool-Aid, you know, Bill,
right,
and everybody that you have met that's here. It's just like,
it's
we
really
love
cool.
And I tell people, you know, I'm like that really annoying person that I love El Paso so much, and I'm going to do everything I can to make you love it as much as I do. You know, like I want to somehow transfer the lens that I see the city in to you, so you know why I love it so much.
That's Tokyo's. That's the way I feel about Tokyo as well, actually. Yeah, I love the city so much, and I know that Bill feels this way about the city too. It's just like, I just want you to love it like I love it. You know, it's constant infatuation. You know, to the point where it's like, it's almost like it's not healthy. But I love this city so much, and I can get the sense every time one of our friends from Tokyo ends up in Texas, I end up with a nice Western shirt or a cool El Paso art piece. And yeah, love representing El Paso in Tokyo.
Absolutely. Well, I mean, you know me, travel is my passion. I have to say, I think the friendliest people in the world are here in El Paso, and I've encountered a lot of great people, but you know, it's just there's good people here, and we love people to visit us. You know, everybody just gets motivated to show everybody, you know, not only a good time, but just all of the things that we love about our city.
Very cool. Yeah. Well, okay. Let me. Well, thank you for sharing so much about the channel, just for starters. I want to hear more. I want to hear lots more, but the channel is just really cool. Everybody go check it out. The Consummate Host. Now, it's not just the YouTube channel. It's all the platforms. Wayne Hilton also. Can I share your Instagram?
My Instagram is the Wayne Hilton.
Yeah, I'll drop it here in the chat.
Please.
And there's...
Come over.
Yeah. And there's a... Are we lagging? Are we okay?
Yeah, we're good. We're good. I think we're good.
Okay. Yeah, the web, and then there's a great website. And basically, if you want to get, I think you're going to build a host empire eventually. But basically, you're offering kind of consultation on hosting events. And is that kind of what the service is? If you go to the web.
Well, no. So basically, okay, I love it because I can hear my good friend Paula, the costume designer, who also is she's a great consultant. She's great in the virtual space, all of that. All I'm doing right now is sharing my passion for hosting. And I'm just creating this content and building this platform. And I can hear Paula's voice in the background going, "You got to figure out what you're selling." And I was like, I don't know what I'm selling yet. I mean, I still do event design here in El Paso. I think, to be honest with you, my ultimate goal is, partnerships. I would love to have a product line at some point. affiliations clearly. And then, I mean, you know what? Food Channel, let's make a show, you know, or whoever, like, let's do something. So I'm kind of focused on producing content now with that end game in mind. But I'm not at this point, I'm not selling anything. I'm just being me and making content.
Well, I'm cheering for you, and I think anybody I saw all you had. You rallied a pretty decent sized crew at your birthday party. I think you must have a legion of friends and fans who are all cheering for you.
There was about 200 people at my birthday party, so it was an event. It was an event. Wow. It was great, and you know, and I continue to focus on my local base, because that's how we are here. Like, you want your people behind you, you know? And as I said, I love El Paso. I love the people that are here. And, you know, I think collectively this is going to grow. It's always going to have a vibe of my Southwestern roots, my borderland, Latino, El Paso, West Texas, Mexico blend of all of that. That's always going to be a part of like who I am.
Very cool. Well, I here's your chance to go a little. I know you're focused on local, but we're going a little international here.
I want to be global. You know what I mean?
Be digital, yeah. Also,
and especially because travel is such a big part for what I do. You know what I mean, or for who I am. So absolutely, I want a big reach. You know, one of my very first followers. So the last episode I just shot was my second installation of Wayne's Wanderlist. So actually, Edgar and I were in Nepal and India from like mid-December to early January.
Wow.
So I just shot my next Wayne's Wanderlist episode about the inspiration from India and Nepal. You know, food, textile, the bedspread on my guest room bed is from India. Unbelievable. So that's the type of thing I'm talking about. You know, you can draw inspiration in so many, you know, different directions. But what I'm trying to say really fast is I did a cooking class in Delhi, and the guy that hosted the cooking class was one of my first followers on the Consummate Host.
Nice.
So I've got some people in India pulling for me.
Okay, groovy. I actually had the good fortune to visit India and Nepal many years ago, and it was magical. It was super amazing. So I'm really excited to see. I think I heard you went to Jaipur. Did you go to Jaipur?
Yes.
Yeah. So I'm curious to hear about Jaipur. I had really wanted to go to Rajasthan. I really wanted to go to Jaipur. I didn't end up making it. I went elsewhere, but we're gonna be cheering for the Wayne's Wanderings. Forgive me.
Wonderlist.
Well, I love it. Wonderlist. That's a clever. Yeah. So, but I think this is really interesting because let me give you an idea of what this vinyl community thing is. It's kind of interesting. The vinyl, there was people who got online, and they've been online for, I don't know, I'm going to say 12 years, something. It was just a little hodgepodge of people talking about music and talking about their record collections, like any other subculture that might have been talking about their thing on YouTube. And then I think it started to kind of grow, and it ended up becoming this thing where everybody kind of knew each other, and they'd host like Zoom became a thing, and people started getting to know each other and on a first name basis. And then they found out, oh, it's like I have a friend in Seattle, or I have a friend in Boston. I can go visit them. And next thing you know, they're sending records around. And then there's this kind of like slightly tighter knit group of people. And it's got to exist, I would assume, in all of these different subcultures on YouTube. But I don't know if it exists, and it might be kind of unique. And it's ironic that we can't talk about music, or we can't play music because of these copyright issues, but we can talk about it ad nauseum.
Right.
So people like to get online, and they like to host panels like we're hosting right now, but sometimes with 4 people or 6 people or as many as 10 people, and they riff on, music, and it's like kind of like a morning hangout at the coffee shop with your pals. And it's like some people are doing it on a weekly basis, and some people are doing it on they're doing it multiple times a week. There was one channel that was doing it every day, and it was kind of like a really popular place for people to gather, and hundreds of people are coming there from all around the world, and everybody's kind of keeping tabs on everybody else. Okay, this is the vinyl community on YouTube, and it's like maniac record collectors like me, and I'm like one of the least maniacs of us, and it's like it's these impromptu live streams, these impromptu hangouts, and what they sometimes devolve into, which I don't really love, are like political disagreements and shouting matches, and everybody comes back together in the end and it's all fine. But it's like what started out as like a nice salon at a coffee shop becomes like the end of the night at the bar, where people are, the bartender's kicking us out essentially.
Right.
And so I get a little frustrated because I'm a little bit, I'm averse to what's the word I'm looking for? Averse to like, just the controversy, and like I don't want to argue. I want to talk, and I want to discover, and I want to explore, and I want to appreciate. I don't really want to debate. I'll debate. I'm not, and I'll get into it, but like the level of sort of, you tease your friends because they're your friends.
Right, exactly.
But it can get a little bit heated, and because we're all sort of sitting behind computer screens, it can get kind of ugly from time to time. And I think people like me, not necessarily me specifically, but people who don't really want to play those games, we kind of become a little bit targets for people who that's their thing, like they like to, I don't know. There's a whole attitude here in YouTube where they like, once you get have you had a troll yet? Have you had somebody knocking your comments or knocking your videos?
Well, like I said, a couple of, okay. So the only one negative comment I got once was during so I do the one episode where I walk everybody through the Dolce & Gabbana exhibit in Paris. So it's kind of like, and I preface it by saying it's a bit of a step away from hosting, but this was so significant to me that I want to share it. That was it, right? So I filmed the intro sitting like oh my God, I'm constantly rearranging my house for the episodes because I'm trying to like keep it fresh and different spaces and whatever. So in the hallway to my den, I have a huge cross wall. It's where I've collected crosses, and I love religious iconography, but so I have a cross wall, right? And I probably have, there's probably 50 crosses on my wall,
Okay.
Very concentrated.
I see where this is going. Yeah.
No. So I'm sitting in the club chair. I moved it by the cross wall. I'm doing my introduction. I introduce like what we're doing. And then I get this comment about somebody, and they're talking about the crucifixes behind me on the wall will not be following. And I was just like, okay, sorry. I mean, no offense intended, sure. But somebody just got bent out of shape because I have a cross wall. So, okay.
Well, there's more coming for you.
Right.
There's more coming, just because you're going to be so good at this. And you're going to have a lot of subscribers, and it just comes with the territory. And it just, you start to appreciate those Hollywood people who say like, wow. And I'm like nobody. I'm like a zero nobody. Although I do, when I get on these streams and I use these softwares, they sometimes tell me, you're at the end of you've used up all your free streaming, units. You're part of the 2% of people who are streaming out there. So that gives me an indicator that I'm like at least online more than most, I think.
Right. Yeah.
And it comes with the territory. But what I thought, I mean, what I thought about is, I respect your notion that you're doing a video every week. And I like how you're sprinkling and peppering it with like travel things and other things that are interest you. I'm coming back to music, but Tokyo Record Style is really actually it's inspired by this photography blog called Tokyo Camera Style, and it's this guy in Nebraska who photographs people with film cameras. Basically, when he's walking around Tokyo, he sees if somebody's wearing like a old Nikon, film camera, he's like, "Oh, can I take your photo?" Like you've seen the guys in New York who's like, "Can I take a picture of your dog?" And they're like, "Oh my God, you're the dog guy. You're the guy. Yes, please." Same thing, but cameras.
Right.
And I basically, and he's a dear friend of mine who I've known for 20 years. And I said, "John, I don't have to call it Tokyo record style, but I often see people carrying record store bags and like, could I copy that idea and like we could kind of unify but I don't want," and he said, "Do it. You should do it. Do it. So I started this thing, and the thing that I think people misunderstand about Tokyo Camera Style, John's thing, is that it's about like gear, like it's like gear porn. But really what it is, it's like a fashion blog, because people express their individuality with the kind of camera that and just their fashion sense, their individuality, their taste for the day by what camera they use. So I really appreciate it for that. And I think a lot of people see it that way, but I think a lot of people just see it as like salivating over Leica cameras and things like this. But it's really a cool, interesting way to see what people are interested in and to see trends, because like what was cool 10 years ago in the camera, in camera choices is different than now. And so when I hear Tokyo Camera Style, I think of style as a topic that blog is actually about. It's about cameras, it's about Tokyo, and it's about style. And so when I sort of modeled Tokyo record style off of Tokyo Camera Style, I very much wanted to keep those notions, and like I wanted to like think about style, and I wanted to think about Tokyo. And Tokyo is such a great city to share, much like El Paso is, I'm sure, for you.
Oh, yeah.
I want to come back to records, but I want to go all over the place. And so I do go all over the place. So your Wayne's Wonderlist is like, I've got Brian's, I got to come up with my own Wonderlist.
Right. Exactly.
But for every two videos where I'm sitting here going like, this Pink Floyd record's awesome, I'm going off and being like, "Yo, check out this awesome record store. Here's Tokyo Tower, or here's something else." And I come back to music. And like, for example, the records that you showed in your bar, that's like a perfect little, okay, it worked. I'm in the clear. I've ticked my record box. This makes sense.
Right. Exactly.
So, but I do these live streams, and I find that like I like to gather online, and there's about, I don't know, half a dozen or a dozen challenges that we have as online hosts of these live streams.
Right.
And I wanted to kind of put it out there. Like, I want to share with you a few of the challenges, and I want to see if you can come up with some answers.
Sure.
Yeah.
Well, do my best. I don't know.
Well, first of all, I admire how you're doing this like 1 day a week thing, because that's key. It's consistency, right? It's like, that's what they all say. It's like, and in the live stream context, if people can understand that you're going to be on at 2:00 on a Wednesday, then they're going to show up at 2:00 on a Wednesday, and they don't have to like mark a calendar, because they just know in their head that your show's on at 2:00 on a Wednesday. But for me, I have a really wild schedule, and I'm all over the place, and I got the kids, and I got work, and I'm busy. So I can't, it's really hard for me to commit to a time, but I've now committed to a time.
Right.
And I want to I want to do a little bit something with the time that I've committed. And that is to create something where people aren't, something like you're making. I want to create an event where people are coming and they've forgotten about their troubles and woes, and they're not, and there might be something even to distract them that's beside, something, but at the same time, I'm not like, you talk about, something, what was it, like grand design and grand orchestration versus, simple. And I kind of am somewhere in the middle. I'm basically leaning way more towards simple. And I don't know if I can really create a grand plan for every live stream on a weekly basis, although I kind of want to try. But I think it's got to have like some elements of spontaneity. Like, I don't know what's going to happen. I don't know what we're going to talk about. Maybe it's a last minute thing I need to come up with. but these streams can typically go on for like an hour and a half to 3 hours. So sort of like a typical podcast. And if the conversation is flowing, then we can go actually 3 hours, believe it or not. And if it's not, then like an hour is like an hour and a half, and you're like, I got to get out of here. And sometimes I don't really see this as a challenge, but there are characters among us who are very popular and everybody likes to see them. And there are other characters who are like, Louis C.K. has this funny joke where he's like, you know, that feeling when you're feeling really depressed and you mail like 500 people and somebody mails you back and says, and you say like, oh, thank you for mailing me back. And then somebody cooler mails you back after that. And you like throw away the first guy and start talking to the second guy. There's like levels of as vapid and mean as it sounds, to like add more value. I don't really see that as a challenge. To when I say add value, like add X factor, add impact to a conversation. And some people who are more interested in just kind of like hanging out and just contributing here and there. And I want to cultivate a space where especially those kinds of people are welcome to kind of like the less vocal of us to like have a space where they can come and be heard. That's like one of the intentions I have. So, and why I mention that is because when people come onto these streams, it's just been you and me on here, but I could put out an invite, for example, a call to anybody who's in the peanut gallery, which is for anybody who's here for the stream for the first time. Forgive me if I'm referring to you as peanuts, but we call this chat the peanut gallery sometimes. And I could throw an invitation link in here and they could come up and kind of deride our conversation completely. And they might be in the backstage area for like a minute, and I might bring them up and I may break your stream of consciousness. And like, we need some etiquette and some protocols about like how to bring people in, how to let people go. I know it's like kind of technical. I'm getting into the like technical. That's like one challenge that we have. And then like maybe I should have started with like format. Like, do your events, you have your warm welcome, your magic moment, your fond farewell. Maybe we need to have like, what does that look like in a live stream maybe? And these live streams, they kind of, and I'll stop talking here, but they kind of follow the pattern of like a late night talk show. Basically, there's like some of them, depends on who it is, but there's kind of like a monologue time. There's the stupid pet tricks. There's the top 10. There's the first guest, the second guest, and then the musical act or something like that. Right. But yeah. So format, like the format. I haven't actually thought about a format.
I feel like a format is absolutely a great idea. And within having a format, you're not compromising spontaneity. You can still have spontaneity, but maybe you just kind of work on a bit more of a, like a roadmap for what every live stream kind of flows through. You know what I mean? And I mean, if you get sidetracked, great, go with it. Like totally go with the flow, see where that goes. But I think the idea of a format, I mean, I would have to have it. Like, that's just my nature. You know what I'm saying? Like, I need a little bit of a plan on how it's going to go. Just like you would coordinate an event or a gathering or an experience. You have an idea.
Let's workshop just one. Let's like just see. Could you come up with what would be a 3-part act of your live stream to talk about a musical? Like to host an event of music lovers. What would be the first 30 minutes? What would be the middle 30 minutes? What would be the last 30 minutes? I mean, like, could you come up with something on the spot?
I would sure. No, I could totally think of that. So I think, okay, so maybe we kick it off, and the first thing is going to be, I'm going to share something that I have discovered, appreciated, rediscovered, whatever, since the last live stream. So I'm going to kick it off with like my thing, right? Then I would say, maybe in the middle, and I don't know like how kind of structure what you do, but then you talk about the thing that episode focuses on. If you've got a thing, like if it's a genre, or if it's a specific album or something like that, like whatever your main topic is, like that, Then you kind of open it up to everybody else to kind of put in, you know, like what they've discovered or shared or comments on what the theme was, right? And then I would probably wrap it up with like our next live stream is going to be this. Be thinking about it and bring your ideas to the table next week. That's
what about like for example your Easter egg workshop or
right.
your event.
Right.
You welcome these guests to the space. They have a little chit chat time, I assume, right? They've come into the space. They've got like a welcome. What's your warm welcome for the
mimosa bar? I mean,
the mimosa bar.
My warm welcome was the second they walked in, like within 30 seconds, there was, you know, a mimosa in hand. Like that was my warm welcome.
What could be an equivalent? What could be a digital equivalent of a warm welcome?
A digital warm welcome. I don't know. Maybe. I mean, I almost feel like that conversation about your discovery since the last live stream, that's kind of a warm welcome. Like you're sharing something with them. You know what I'm saying? You're like you're sharing like a little nugget that they probably wouldn't have gotten anywhere else.
Yeah, I think generally speaking, in the like that would be like the records I scored last week.
Right.
Right. That's a thing that we like, oh, can I show a record? That's a common expression that we're saying on these live streams. Can I show a few records that I got last week? Not everybody's getting record. Not everybody's buying a record each week. Not everybody can afford to buy records each week. But certainly everybody can comment on whatever a topic might be. But I wonder if there's like something that's even more sort of almost like silly, like almost like a goofy that you can't get in without passing what is the laden flight of a swallow or the speed velocity, you know, something that you have to do to cross the bridge.
Anecdotal, you know, like very anecdotal.
Right. This is something that I'm thinking about, like just to welcome the person in so they don't get like brought in to the stream and sitting on the panel and they get ignored for the first 5 minutes. I want to come up with some protocol that you can't come into the stream, not to make it like rules, but like you come in at a time, maybe like every 10. I don't know if you could script that out, but I often get in this little situation where somebody's like, they come on and it's rude to the person who's telling the story to like let somebody in the middle of their conversation, because not only does it like, I'm like being rude by ignoring the person who I've just let in. I'm being rude by like leaving them in the backstage until the other guy finishes.
Right.
And sometimes when they come in, they just commandeer the conversation and there's like no rules of etiquette that we can follow. So that's a challenge.
I'm going to let my dogs out. I'll be right back.
Go for it.
15 seconds.
Let me review some of the things that I've come up with. Let me say hello to the peanut gallery. I'm sorry, guys. I'm really sorry. Let's say hi to you guys. I feel terrible. It's just fun to hang out. I'm so sorry. Texas Anna Schmidt, I read your comment about the vest here. The first thing he had me wear was a vest, half blue, half pink stripes, half leopard print, and a big gold belt. I was like, what? On stage? And it was incredible. Seriously, it's in his blood. Yeah, I mean, he is fabulous. And we've talked about Zena, nice to have you here. Texas Schmidt, Wayne, Texas Schmidt loves you. I'm sure he feels that. Y'all are doing great. I appreciate it. I'm like, only like 40 minutes late to your comment, Zeno. I'm super sorry. 40 says, thank you. Am I skipping comments? I'm not doing it well. Sorry about that. There's Zeno's comment. There you go. Consummate Host. Okay. I do appreciate for some cooking is an aesthetic. Yes, he's talking about the plate. You're meant to use a plate for tea. What do you call the pizza tortillas? Okay, they're tostada. I grew up on tostadas. We love Drum Corps International. Okay, I feel so bad. Oh, Buckstop's here in the house. What's up, dude? Nice to see you. South Africa in the house. We dig the stream, Brian. Cheers. Yeah, I mean, my friend Wayne, I wanted to get him on because I'm just like, the other thing that I want to do is like have a buddy to talk to about YouTube, to be honest. And like I needed buddies like, hey, how did you mask that thing? How did you make that thumbnail? How did you do where did you get that little insert? How did you do this? Like, I don't have anybody to chat with about this. And I'm so glad that now I have like one dude from my world who I can like be like, hey, I learned something on how to do something. Did you tell me how you did your thing? And I have a hunch I'm going to be asking Wayne like a whole bunch of questions about how he's like up to a gajillion followers and how he's doing so good at his thing. I was a ballerina Barbie, not a Malibu Barbie. What are you guys talking about? I'm just reading the comments here. Welcome back. How's your dog? Okay, everything okay?
All good. So I have 3 Chihuahuas.
Okay.
2 are 16, 1 is 15. They're in and out all day. So I mean,
okay.
it's an ongoing thing, but they're great. They're great. They're healthy. They're very spirited, and they are the center of my universe. So there we have it.
I have like we have allergy situation here at the house, and we had like severe allergies, like, you know, they anyway, I won't get into it, but like I've seen it. It's terrifying, like hospitalized levels of allergies. Yeah, it's unfortunate, but so we don't have dogs here, but maybe we should revisit those things, because you do kind of, your body changes as you get older. I'm talking about the little kids here. Good to see Fish. Can't wait to see. Okay, I've been waiting. Yes. Wook Plus channel. Yes, I've been watching that too. Grateful Dogs in the house. How's the Oregon trucker? Oh, yes. I owe Marty in Oregon an apology, because there's somebody in the vinyl community who is streaming at this time, I think, and I failed to remember that, but I failed to remember that this was a time that he was streaming. So if you like Marty, go watch Marty's YouTube. He's got his breakfast VC family dinner video. Sorry about that. Yeah, I feel bad. I didn't mean to do that. It just, like, you said Sunday night, let's meet on Sunday, and I said okay, Sunday night. And I do kind of, that's another thing that we have to kind of think about here, is that in this vinyl community, there's like a calendar of people who are hosting events at different times, and you don't really want to step on toes, but it's almost impossible. But it is a challenge that we have, and maybe you'll have this sometime. Marty Robbins. Do you guys know Marty? Do you know Marty Robbins in El Paso?
Oh, absolutely.
Tell me what Marty Robbins is. Who's Marty Robbins?
Texas town of El Paso.
That's Marty Robbins. Oh God. Okay. That's a great tune. I love that tune.
Rose's Cantina still exists.
Oh my God, really?
Absolutely. Yep. Oh, I drive. I have a couple of friends, so it's kind of down in the valley, like what we call the Upper Valley, and I have friends who visit, and I drive by it all the time. Rose's Cantina.
Yeah, the West Texas. Do you know the Dead version? Wait, what kind of music do you like? What's your music? Where does your music?
Oh, now we're taking a big diversion. I love that. Oh my God. Okay. So, okay. I feel like I'm going to be judged in this music community.
This is a no judge, no snark zone, Wayne. Don't worry. I will not judge you. I literally
went to Prague 3 years ago to see Pet Shop Boys, and it was incredible.
West girls, I love.
Here's what this is. Okay, so in their not in their defense, they don't need defending. Like, everybody knows Pet Shop Boys for West End girls, but you know what I love about the Pet Shop Boys? They have never stopped making music. They've never stopped. There is music. They just released an album like 4 months ago. Like, they are constantly producing and have. And not
you're a super fan of Pet Shop Boys.
I am. I'm a super fan. And
awesome.
not only their music, but they do collaborations on musicals, and they do film scores, and they do all this stuff. So I'm not an expert, but I'm definitely a fan. And so, so 80s in general. Can I tell you something I did this morning? I don't even know how this happened. I do know exactly how it happened. So I was Googling Kylie Minogue, because I love her music, but don't really know that much about her. So I was just like reading some stuff, and then, like the buttons of like people also search, and Madonna was there. So I clicked on Madonna, and I read her entire Wikipedia page.
Right.
I'm going to tell you something. There is so much I had no idea about her, especially in early years, of kind of like what she did to get where she is. And can I just say, like, the woman like has a work ethic. When you look at what, like, year by year of what's produced and what's done, I was like, whoa, you know?
She's an icon.
So I grew up studying piano. I was a band geek in high school.
Right.
So kind of my go-to is more in the classical world. And I love to tell people, you know, when I was younger, I loved the big orchestral works. Like that was my go-to. And then as I got older, I started appreciating more of just like the smaller ensembles, solo piano, quartets, where you can appreciate the individual musicians, right? I like jazz. I'm a big Pat Metheny fan. If you're familiar with Pat Metheny, I've been fortunate to see him a few times live. Incredible. What else? Like,
that's cool, man. I'm very impressed, and I'm very I'm curious about your Pet Shop Boys super fan. That's very interesting. I think I can relate. I definitely can relate. I am a super fan of some bands, and it's something about like what you said, that you're enamored not just like by the music, but by the fact that they like are just the act of their creativity. Right. I can totally relate.
And I love this. And we see this a lot in musicians. Well, okay. I'm going to make a comparison. It's kind of like me in design and them in music. It's like, you just can't stop. It's what feeds your soul. And they just keep making and producing. And I love that. Super fast circle back to Pet Shop Boys. The venue I saw them in Prague was 3,000 people. So very small, you know, most of us on the floor watching. So that same trip, I went to Berlin. They were also in Berlin at a 30,000 seat.
Oh my gosh.
And I was like, so thankful I saw them in 3,000 seats. Wow. You know, it was just the energy. And I'm sure you've experienced this with live music. You know, like, especially when you're in a concert, the people immediately around you, you become like a group. Like you're like a little family.
Organism, yeah, for sure.
Unless you're having an affair at a Coldplay concert, you're like this little family, you know. And I love that energy. You start relating. And this particular tour was like a greatest hits tour. So every single song was like, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. You know, it's like, it just kept getting better and better.
That's great. Let's take this. I want to come back to this notion about like, how are we going to, I want to come back to it. I got a few more things I want to riff on, but while we're talking about music, let's just talk about your other interests, because tell me, please, where does this jewelry and silver thing come from? Please tell me about this. When I saw you, when I met you the first time, you had a piece of, I don't remember exactly, but I think you had a piece of turquoise that was about the size of a belt buckle. And I was like, it was the most beautiful thing. And being from Oklahoma and going to powwows and seeing, you know, what that stuff trades for, right. I thought, oh, you don't just come across a piece like that. You have to know somebody and you have to kind of be in the know. And you told me that your mother, who's been mentioned on the stream already, had something to do with this story. Absolutely. I read about you mentioned that your mother is from the Southwest. Who is your mother, and we'll start there if you wouldn't mind.
Oh my goodness, good Lord. No, absolutely. So we could do an entire series. We could do a multi-episode series on my mother. She is literally one of the most amazing people. So my mom passed away 2 years ago. So my life, I'm still in a huge transition. As I mentioned, I'm an only child. I have no siblings. My mom was a tremendous influence on me. She's just, you know, my mom was raised in this little town called Lordsburg, New Mexico. It's about 60 miles west of Deming. 100 and something miles west of Las Cruces, a nothing town. When she was when she was growing up, there was actually more going on there because there was railroad, farming, ranching, all of that. It is like now it is a truck stop and a rest area. That's all it is. And then she moved to Las Cruces for her last 2 years of high school. How that upbringing produced this style icon that was my mother, I will never know. And, you know, the story I tell, and again, I'll make this short, but the story I love to tell about my mom is she was so confident in everything she did and her style, and she was unapologetic to everything. I mean, she was a good person, but she did, you know, she never apologized for how she expressed herself. And I grew up around that, and that's such a good influence to have when you're growing up. Well, my mom loved sterling and turquoise Native American jewelry and started collecting when she was very young. In fact, I still have the very first piece she ever bought. It's a bracelet I wear almost every day. She was a telephone operator for Mountain Bell, which no longer exists. She was a telephone operator for Mountain Bell. She put it on layaway for like 6 months. And that was the beginning of her collection. So when we moved, I moved mom to El Paso for the last 4 years of her life. When we did her estate sale, we did like the house part of the estate, and then they had to separate the jewelry. And we did that in like a conference facility at like the country club, like a big conference room. Okay. And
the international collectors are coming. They know about this collection. They're coming to.
Yeah, they did then for sure. Okay. So, but the beauty of all of that is, you know, from the very beginning, even 10 years ago, my mom was always encouraging me, you know, anything from her collections that I liked, please take it, please wear it, please enjoy it. So I probably have, you know, now I probably have 30 pieces that I use them right. I mean, I wear it every day. You know, it's just part of
gorgeous. I love it.
Identity. It's part of my identity, you know. So that's where it comes from. And, you know, and my mom was passionate about it. My God, you know, she was in the antique business. She was a trader. She could work a deal. She always had things going. You know, she would trade furniture for jewelry or whatever. And she was just kind of that kind of person, you know. And if she saw something that she liked, she got it. You know, and that's how it was.
Was she the family that raised? Did she raise horses?
We were farming and agriculture. Absolutely. Okay.
And you're ranchers, and you moved cattle. You moved herds of cattle. You went north to move somebody else's herd from one place to another.
Yeah, you saw that in an episode. So that wasn't my family, but we went up because we had very close friends of our families that had a huge ranch in northeastern New Mexico, and we would go up and drive cattle. You know, and I love sharing those stories with people, because people that have come into my life kind of later in my life would never expect that I came from farming and ranching. But, you know, so my friend Paula, the costume designer that's coming to El Paso for this premiere, blah, 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 her and I grew up in almost identical situations. And we're the same age, or she's a little younger than I am, but close. And we have had the most amazing conversations about how grateful we are that that's the world we grew up in. Because you know what? Farmers and ranchers are hard workers. They are committed to what they do. It is a no bullshit environment. There's just something about being raised in that makes us a certain way, you know, and her and I love to talk about it. It's just like, we're very much a product of how we were raised.
As I mentioned, you know, like I'm from the city, I'm from Tulsa, but compared to where you're from, that's the big city, right? That's the right? And but I remember I'd see dusty cowboys with big jewelry, with big old turquoise on their wrists, and I was just like, oh my God, that is cool. That is the coolest thing I've ever seen, you know? It was like these like hardworking, like proper cowboys, the rodeos too, you know, and just like decked out in full regalia, and not even like as masculine as can possibly be, giant, huge turquoise and silver, and just like, it's a dream of mine to have a piece someday, but who knows? I think that window of opportunity might have passed. But that's so interesting. I that was something that's just remained with me, and that actually leads me to another question. It's a silly one, but I'm going to come back. I want to tell. There's a few other things that I want to talk about you personally. The crystal, real quick. The crystal isn't like part of the mother's legacy, is it? You seem to have quite a nice crystal collection. Is that special or not so special?
That's all. You know what? To be honest with you, okay. So here's what I'm so glad you brought that up. So once I got the idea for the birthday party, I just went on the hunt. So every single piece of crystal you see it in the birthday party, you see it at the Easter brunch, all of that. It's all thrift. I'm a huge thrifter. And, I just, again, that comes from the fact that mom had an antique store. And so I grew up going to estate sales, yard sales, auctions, all of that. So you just kind of get this eye to look for things.
And you're going to end up at like what do they call it? The Antiques Roadshow, and one of these crystal bowls is going to be worth $100,000 or something.
Yeah, you can retire. Yay.
Those are always really fun. Well, I think, speaking about your mother and speaking about, your background and your collection, it's, and the recipes, the what was it? The Aunt Fifi's,
heavenly cream.
Heavenly cream, right? There's this family value that you can find all across your channel that I really appreciated and related to at times. It was really endearing.
It's cousin Fifi, and that's her right there.
Oh, is she? Oh, she's back there on the wall. Okay, nice. Cousin Fifi. She got featured. I saw a picture of her on the video. That's cool. Well, you obviously, love your family, and it's cool to see, like, them sprinkled in your channel. But just like, speaking of this jewelry for a second more, you're so fabulous and so stylish, and every video you're dressed to the hilt, to the to the Hilton, to the max, dressed to the tens. You have some. What's your 10? Every table setting should be.
To the nines.
To the nines, right? You're dressed to the nines. You're dressed to the tens, really. Right. So here was a thought. Here was a crazy thought that I had. Tokyo Record style. I'm not stylish. I have like a really cheap shirt on and like a really kind of silly hat and like a messy haircut and a beard and some funny glasses. But I do like, I do appreciate individuality expressed in
I'm going to stop you right there. Yeah. So you have all that, but that's still style. Like, that's your style.
Yeah, exactly. That even but I wonder if a thought I had about like this etiquette that I was talking about earlier, the etiquette of coming on a stream and how to figure these things out. And these are the kinds of things that, like, maybe I'd like us to, start to wrap this up and think about, like, okay, maybe we didn't solve the problems, but like, let's see if we can meet again in a week or two's time and maybe stay in touch until then, and see if you, like, midweek, you're like, I got an idea to solve your problem about people, how to get them to come in at a polite time. That's maybe we can do this. Maybe not, but maybe I will put that intention out there. But like a thought I had was like dress code on a live stream. Do you think that's too big of an ask to ask a bunch of, what do they call them? Like, schlubby dudes, collecting records. And maybe there's some expectation where you have to,
like, maybe like you can't show up to a live stream unless you have a concert tee on or something like that. You know what I mean? Something along those lines.
Something maybe something, I don't know. Yeah, just something like that was dress code, or a set code. I see so many people. This kind of drives me up the wall. Like, I see people with like just everything wrong with their set. It's like I can see their dirty underwear coming out of the dresser, or the light is coming from behind rather than the front, or there's goop all over the camera lens, and it's just like, come on, it's not that hard. And I'm not, acing it, but yeah, maybe there should be like a set code, not a dress code, but a set code.
Right. Exactly. Yeah. I mean, maybe. But at the same time, too, I mean, that's so tricky because you never want to discourage people from participating.
Right. Yeah. When
like,
you have a dress code, you have a dress code. Surely you have like everybody wear blue. We're having a blue party. You ever have something like this?
well, I mean, yes, I think generally there's always something. So I love that you're saying that because one of my kind of style icons or design icons is Jonathan Adler. And, he's like a famous ceramicist, but he has truly created this incredible interior design brand. But I will tell you that my manifesto was very much inspired by, so he did a book like 20 years ago. And it was called The Prescription. It was like the prescription for antidepressant living. And it was a style book. It was fabulous. And he had a manifesto in it. And so I will never forget reading that manifesto. And one of my favorite points, this is not exactly how he said it, but I loved it so much. And one of his manifesto points was, you should always be overdressed or underdressed. And I love that. It's like, don't hang out in the safe middle. Go to one end or the other. You know what I'm saying? And I love that. I love that.
Me too.
So, so as far as dressing goes, sure. I mean, it's always fun to have that. And, people like some direction for an event. They want an inspiration to like pull something together, so it's a good thing.
We have a little game that, do you remember the movie High Fidelity? There was this record store movie with John Cusack and Jack Black. It was his big debut. And it's kind of a cult classic, especially amongst record collectors. And they play this game in the movie called Top 5 Records. And they, like, at various points in the movie, they say, okay, what's your top 5 records for a Monday morning? What's your top 5 records for songs about death? What's your top 5 records, side 1, track 1? And you get to like hear them rattle off some like kind of cool musical artists. And I host these events where we do this kind of like talk show. It's a talk show and DJ event where we have like DJ time, and then we have like a talk show time where we talk about our top 5 records. And it sounds really fun and easy, but it when you agree to do it, you don't really realize what you're signing up for. And you basically just have to talk about 5 records, but it's almost like this, you have to write like a high school, essay essentially, or even more. And people are like, and then in the end they come out and be like, oh, that was fun. It was so much fun. But I was like, in the middle of it, they're like, but it's all about celebrating music. And I don't want people to give homework. I don't want to give homework to people to be on the stream, but I would like to have, it's like you said, some direction, people need to be, guided through something. And if I could give them some experience that was like really fun and easy. A couple of guys on here, they do it pretty well. In fact, they do it on the fly. They have one like game in Japan. There's a game called Shiri Tori, or I'm sure it's all over the world, but you have to it's a word game where one person says a word and you have to like say a word that starts with the last letter of the last word, the previous word, and then the next person has to say a word with the last letter of the previous word or whatever. And they make these games, and you can actually like go to your record collection and be like, okay, I just thought of one, and then you can go over and like grab it. And it is kind of an impromptu game that doesn't require a lot of planning. But I needed a little arsenal, a little toolbox of ideas. And I don't know if maybe if I can watch a little bit more of the Consummate Host, I'll brainstorm some ideas about ways that, to get some participation.
Right.
I want to say like participation, but I also want to it's not that I want to make a barrier of entry, but I want people invested somehow.
Let me just share this. This just came to my mind in the context of this discussion. it's not a barrier of entry, but if there's a little call to action that brings people to the live stream, they're going to be more engaged. And I mean,
Right.
it can be simple, but but then everybody's showing up with this mindset of like, well, I did the thing, so here I am, and I'm going to participate. Instead of just hovering and watching, you're going to get a little bit more engagement, because if people did whatever the call to action was, they're going to want to let you know that they did it,
Yeah, and I think I can actually even get the peanut gallery to participate. Like everybody can participate, on screen or off screen. So that's kind of an interesting. It sounds really obvious, but yeah, sometimes it just needs to be spelled out for you, right? What were some of the? I think basically, hold on, let me just look at my notes here real quick.
So
we talked.
We're probably going to need to wrap up.
Yep.
Yeah.
Well, this was a ton of fun. We talked about your dogs. We talked about jewelry. We talked about your travels. Oh my God, I loved hearing about your travels. Behind the scenes of your channel. Your channel is so amazing. You are bound for glory. You have your magic moment. And the magic moment can be anything. It's these like. In film, we have the moment where we pull the photograph apart and we reveal that's our sort of magic moment. But this fond farewell idea, you've mentioned it a few times. You have your manifesto moment, which sort of is, I don't know, maybe it precedes the fond farewell. But some of the manifesto moments are so great. Would you just? I wrote them all down. Would you? And I want everybody to go watch the videos.
You're like my new greatest fan. And
I genuinely am.
So motivated. I'm so inspired.
I want you guys, who's ever watching, to go to the Consummate Host, and I want you to watch the videos, and I want you to wait for the manifesto moment. And they're little isms that I think they'll apply to not just the video that you've watched, but to little things that will apply to your life. And let me rattle off just one, and then let me hand it over to you and see if you can give me a couple more. Let's see, what would be a good one? Let's see. Oh, I love this one. Okay, life's abundance is created, not found.
Exactly. That's one of my favorites.
I love that one. Give us one or two more.
Well, I have to preface. So I have like 20 manifesto moments, and I don't have them all memorized by word.
That's okay.
I always have to look at my list before
I can help you. I can help you.
One of my favorites, and it's super tongue in cheek, but it is one of my favorites. It is, the paper napkin is the enemy of elegance.
Okay.
And I'm also a big cloth napkin person, but let me tell you what that means.
Okay.
It's not even so much about the fact that it's a paper napkin. It's about the fact that take the time to attend to the details that let your guests know that you have done this for them, right? That's really what it's about. But it's talking about the paper napkin, right? So that's one. The other
name cards. You put the name. You said name cards. You said most people don't like name cards because it's just too much. But
no, I love.
I know, but the name card really tells the attendee that you went the extra mile, that you thought about them. Yeah,
and you were thinking about it. And that's that's a great one. And I think the one that I love the most is the greatest gift a host can give their guest is time and attention.
Yeah.
And what that means is get your act together, like prepare, right? Like be prepared so you can enjoy it, and that one kind of goes hand in hand with effortless hosting is an illusion created by good preparation. And that's really what it is, So this, like I said, these are all little isms, but if you listen to them, they really make sense. And it's, it's just being committed when you're hosting, and again, in any context of the word, and you're doing it, like when you're hosting a live stream, like when you're hosting, be prepared so you can enjoy and be in the moment over the course of what you're doing, and that just makes a really big difference.
Yeah, not only is it like it's hardly a hardship to like study up on somebody, but it's extremely rewarding. So
Oh,
it was
absolutely.
it was really fun to get to go through your channel and to hang out here with you, Wayne. I had a blast. I want everybody to please I'm having a trouble sharing the screen because it's just being a little bit wonky, but please go follow the Consummate Host. He is destined to have a lot of followers and a lot of people celebrating him. One of his manifestos moments is basically moments are worth celebrating. Every day deserves a celebration. And so I'm happy to celebrate you a little bit today. Thank you so much, Wayne, for giving me your time. And I know we just went in a million different directions.
Yeah, and I love
it was super, super fun. It was exactly what I wanted. I do have some challenges. And maybe we don't need I would love to welcome hanging out again online. And I'm going to actually take to heart some of these things and I'll put them into practice. And if I can report back, I think call to action is the big one. It's and the details. But I will report back, and if we can deem that another meeting is merited, then we'll have another meeting. But this was such
I feel pretty confident that we can find a way to make this happen again, even if it's outside of the context of what we think it might be.
Right.
I think it's worthwhile that that our paths cross again in this space. I'm definitely up for it.
It was so fun. Let me just say to all the comments, we were so bad at attending to the comments. I'm so sorry. This is like another thing I'm really bad at, Wayne. It's a hard thing to like. You want to engage with everybody, but you want to have a engaging conversation with the panel as well. So how do you solve that problem, right? These are the challenges that I have. So, but I do want to send a very big thank you out to Edgar. Edgar, I'd love just reading your name, dude. Grateful Dogs, Buck Stops here for
the very end.
No, he's had a couple comments. He's been in there. Yeah, it was we got off the rails, but it was still fun. Grateful Dogs and 4D, lots of I'm sorry guys. I will go read the comments, and yeah, there was a bunch of you guys and anybody who came to Tokyo Record Style from the Consummate Host, your friends, thank you so much for coming and hanging out with me. Sorry if I'm a little bit insufferable. I just like kind of ramble, get lost on my own tangents, but this is it. I'm being my real self. And anyway, yeah, Zeno and Texas Schmitty and yeah, appreciate all you guys being here. It was really fun hanging out, Wayne. Okay, well, enjoy your Sunday. Yeah, you got your whole Sunday in front of you.
Whole Sunday ahead of me. So I'm headed to New York in about a week and a half.
Lucky.
So there's a John Singer Sargent exhibit at the Met.
Oh, look at you! You're like going to Paris to see some Dolce & Gabbana. You're going to India, Indonesia, Mexico, New York. You globetrotter, you go. The Consummate Host is on the move.
So I know you were noticing this, but so Alex is like my bestie girlfriend travel buddy. So she was in Paris with me. Exactly. So she flipped the table on me as I did on her, because the Paris trip literally. So YouTube is like, ooh, Wayne should know about this. So it starts sending me all these videos of the Dolce & Gabbana exhibit. And then I'm possessed and I'm like, okay, if I don't see this, I'll be so bummed. So I reach out to Alex and I was like, and it was closing on like April 1st. So I reach out to Alex. This is like March 1st. And I'm like, I know this is crazy, but long weekend in Paris, let's do it. And so we did it the last weekend of March, right? So 2 weeks after we get back from that, she like flips the table because John Singer Sargent is her favorite portrait artist. And she was like, he's at the Met, it closes whenever, let's do it. So now it's our turn, right? So now we're going to New York to see that. And I have to tell you I know this is super crazy. We're wrapping up, we're done. But so Navina Christie, owner of Rocket Buster Boots, really claimed her chops in the fashion industry as the creative designer for Nicole Miller. So now Nicole Miller is female American designer, just, you know, cocktail dresses in the 90s. She's legit. So anyway, I was in New York in 2017 celebrating Edgar's birthday, actually. Happy birthday,
Happy
Edgar,
birthday.
2017. We were there. It just so happened it was Fashion Week. And Navina was able to get us into Nicole Miller's show for Fashion Week in New York. Super fun. So I'm going to New York in the second weekend of August, you know, coming up here. I follow Nicole. She has 2 platforms on Instagram. And like, this was like a month ago. And I was like, you know what? I want to take Nicole Miller to lunch.
No.
I sent her a message on Instagram.
No.
I sent her a message on Instagram. And then I reached out to Navina and said, hey, do me a favor, shoot Nicole a text and just say, my friend Wayne is coming to New York and wants to take you to lunch. So she did. And like 2 days after that, Nicole responds. So we go through this dialogue of like coordinating the dates. She's out of town on the weekends always, but she's there on Monday. So the Monday that I fly home, we're going to meet and have an early lunch on my way to the airport.
Oh, I thought this had already happened. This is gonna happen.
It's gonna happen. And I'm like so excited. I'm having lunch
that's awesome.
on Monday, the 11th of August. Yay!
Congratulations.
So that'll be like a whole thing. Like talk about it, right? Yeah.
Wow. She's gonna love you.
It's gonna be fun.
There's so much to love. You are so charming. And so, hey, can I tell you a funny little thing that I just did?
Tell me.
I just got a motorcycle with a sidecar.
Oh my God. If I come to Tokyo, will you take me for a ride?
Yes.
So it'll be Mario and Luigi.
Yeah, bring the dogs. Bring the dogs here and sunglasses. They need the little goggles, you know?
Yes. I can't wait. Oh my God. I'm so excited.
Well, dude, you're just like the best. And you're such a good sport for hanging out with me. And sorry to take so much of your time. And
no, I love it. It's been amazing.
It was so fun. Yeah.
So are you going to bed or are you just staying up?
No. I'm definitely going to bed. Going to bed. It's tomorrow's a national holiday. So we've had this really long weekend. So it's good. Yeah.
Thank goodness.
So yeah, although it's voting day, and there's like nobody knows what's going to happen. So it's a little exciting. We'll see what happens.
Sounds good.
Wayne, take care. Stay in touch. Let's be YouTube pals. Let's be confidants, and let's trade secrets about what we're doing, and let's stay in touch.
No,
and
I
everybody.
love it so much.
Yeah. Okay. Until next time, buddy. Lots of love from Tokyo. All right. All the best to everybody in El Paso. Yeah.
Thank you so much, Brian.
All right. Thanks for everybody being here. See you on the next one. Bye. Dun, 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 dun.